Hi, so in my last video and some other ones, I was talking about some of my abductions and others that I'm aware of. And I also, again, had put it in writing on my webpage, Facebook, electronically, sent out to Disney Company, Barbie Company, Law Enforcement, Lisa Frank Company, Playboy Bunny Company, and more, like SpongeBob SquarePants, The Murray Show, and whoever else not mentioned, Lifetime Channel, as they all are supposed to have access to lie detector tests and real authorities so they can better assist these situations that need to be situated. Another abduction with my daughter's biological birth daddy in 2005. One of the times he abducted me at a hotel. Somebody else this time had paid, so he told me I don't have to pay this time, but I'm still not allowed to leave, which was weird because the other locations usually he forced me to pay everything. So, as I plotted, without him knowing, I will escape eventually, I don't know when, just like all the other times. He was going to take a nap, but then he made me lay with him, and he put his arms around me with his full strength, and then he rested his eyes, like he's not really sleeping, but he told me good luck, escaping and getting away. At that time, his supposed oldest daughter, he claims is really his biologically, Elizabeth Aaliyah Holloway, born September 3rd of 2001. She was there at that time, supposedly born in the San Diego area. I don't know all that for sure about her birthplace. But, as he was forcing me with him and pretending to sleep and not letting me go, I said, what about Elizabeth? Where is she? He said she's not my business because she's not my daughter and she's supposedly not a blood relative. Well, that's not true. The only good thing I thought, maybe she got away. But then there was a loud banging at the hotel door. I thought it's probably law enforcement or some kind of authorities. They were banging that crazy, like they were literally going to break the door down. Then he got scared and he told me to answer it and to act normal or don't say anything or whatever, just go get the door. And then when I got the door, these people said there's a little girl out your guys' hotel window smiling and laughing and waving at everyone with the screen off to where she could get away if she went out the window all the way. Like she could have landed. We were like 2 stories up, I think. Maybe she didn't want to leave me and she tried to get us both rescued. I really don't know. But I went over to the window and yeah, it was her. She was sitting out the window like she was up in a tree, smiling, laughing, and waving at people. And then I brought her back in when she could have got away. I was already raped pregnant with my daughter at that time. And Willie Holloway Jr. the 4th, born May 24th of 1981. In Brawley, California. Again, he had us all abducted at that place. There was a pool there to go swimming in, and he only let me and my stepdaughter go in it like one time. And he put us on the little raft thing and said we're not allowed to swim. I said, what do you mean we're not allowed to swim? We're in the pool. Because he threatens that if he takes Elizabeth somewhere else, he believes she doesn't know how to swim. And that way she won't be able to get away. Because he does different abductions with different people. We just happened to be together at that time. Because I obviously already know how to swim perfectly since I was a little girl. And to his knowledge, Elizabeth might not really know. So he didn't want her swimming at all at that time. When she got older later on, I had her with me again. We went swimming daily. She would swim literally like a mermaid. Anyways, that's another story. So when we checked out of the hotel to leave, he told me, you're free to go. And he sat in front of a KFC, a Kentucky Fried Chicken, across from the California Palms in Santa Ana, California area. And it was in the middle of the night. And I had a shopping cart of my belongings because I couldn't carry them. And I said, "What do you mean I'm free to go?" I didn't believe him because he's followed me around, or he tries to surprise me and come up out of nowhere like he knows where I'm at somehow. And then he put Elizabeth on his lap and they sat in front of KFC begging people for money. I said, "What are you doing with her?" He's like, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rape her in a hotel room while you're out there and I'll come get you later." I'm like, "No, you're not. This is so sickening." He had me drugged up out of my mind. The fake authorities, 911, and all those retards, they don't listen. They don't do anything to him. They have sex with the little girl, just like he does. It's not okay. It's stupid. I am really telling people the rape gang exists. He is really in it, and there is females that are in it also that happen to be my age, younger and older. I'm not a part of it. I don't care what people think or believe. There's lie detector tests. So I grabbed Elizabeth like she's one of my dolls. I put her in the shopping cart and said, "Well, I'm going to take her with me. I'm heading back to Costa Mesa, California. Here I go, deporting myself again. That's where I was born, around those parts. Somebody needs to better assist me." And that location's off of like Harbor Boulevard and I think like McFadden area. So it's not that far. Nothing's really that far for me. I'm real biblical. And I know all vehicles are supposed to be electrical and flying and lighting up by now, and then, and before, that long ago. So I went walking with the shopping cart and my things and the kid. I put her in there like it was a stroller with a blanket and everything. So she took a nap, and then I pushed her like a stroller. Willie followed, and then, since they were with me, nobody gave me money. They were known on the streets. People would call them niggers. They even called the little girl a stupid nigger that helped him abduct people. And it's true, but she might be innocent of that. She was only 3 years old at that time. This is in 2005. I'm not trying to justify. I just don't have a lie detector test to know her level of innocence. But based on reality and fact versus fiction, he had her abducted. And he forced her to be that way since she was a baby. And at that time, again, I was pregnant, raped by him with my daughter, Angelina Rachel Holloway, who was born at Fountain Valley Regional Hospital in Fountain Valley, California area, biblically speaking, in the land of dreams. Again, I was born at 694 West Wilson Street in Costa Mesa, California. My name's Rachel Michelle McLean. That is the name on my birth certificate. And, so anyways, I walked down Harbor back towards Costa Mesa area, and people recognized Willie and Elizabeth as being two sickos. Another time, a different time I even remember, he had me abducted at another motel room with her, trying to force her to rape me. And she's like, "Come on, Rachel, it's fun, let's go." I said, "What do you mean, it's fun? What are you talking about? I've taken her to the park and everything. What is she trying to do?" So I got away at that time, but Willie and I kept crossing paths, or he literally put himself in mine intentionally as I'm really in a real situation at that time, to get my resources or get help from somebody regarding my resources that I'm entitled to. And he would just keep appearing and try to prevent me, and he does it till this very day, his rape gang. There's that many of them. They're all ages. Hundreds, 20s, babies, kids, teens, adults. They're really in the rape gang. And his daughter Elizabeth was known to be in it too, but I still try to rescue her and redirect her. I've taken her to church before, the Picture Bible service. And he tells me stop trying to save his daughter, that she's in his rape gang. That's his number one top rape gang member, his favorite one, because he turned her into that since she was a baby. And anyways, once we got to Costa Mesa, people looked at me like, "Why are you with those people again?" What do they mean, why am I with these people when I'm abducted by them? Why don't those retarded people do something about it? Because when Elizabeth and Willie aren't with me, they hand me money in public, on surveillance, for nothing. When Willie's there, they claim they can't come near because he's going to make them rape me. That he does that with other people. And it's true, he does do things like that also. Either he's the rapist or he makes someone else be the rapist, just like when he tried to make the little girl at age 3 try to rape me. And normally she does it to other people. So other people are saying, just let them go. No, I'm not going to let a little girl go with a grown man who's her supposed biological birth daddy who rapes her. Whoever says let that go on while you escape? No. When I'm there, obviously, I'm not saying I need to be there, but during that time, he was not touching her at all. I got us to the park and out in public. We even gone to a biblical shelter. They said, we don't have your resources ready, but we can guarantee you probably won't get raped here, because some of the people running the place, they check, they're there, and they're supposed to help us with our resources. So we were there, me and Elizabeth and Willie. They said they have to take him too because he's threatening to take Elizabeth. And they were trying to rescue Elizabeth also. My stepdaughter is what I had called her. She used to try to call me Mom, but I'm like, no, you've always called me Rachel. I'm not your mom. Just like Willie tells you, I am not your mother. Your mother raped and molested you, and Willie, your biological birth daddy, has also. I'm not doing, let's pin it on Rachel. That's what they do. Try to mix up everybody's identities. I'm Rachel, you're Elizabeth, Willie's Willie, Angelina's Angelina, who was in my stomach at the time. Anyways, we got into this shelter in the Costa Mesa area, and they said they're going to help with the resources. They're trying to access real authorities, and they said if I don't have my identity, they believe me. They, for some reason, through the gods and goddesses, kings and queens, they know that I'm telling the truth about my situation, and they're letting me know, honestly, this is all they can do based on what they have access to because of the war we're in with Willie's people and the other peasant criminals. Fact that they let him stay with us was weird, but the thing was, he really had no access to perversion at that location. So we had one of his rape gang members, well, he pretends to go to work, or he did land a job at a illegal landscaping company. Again, illegal landscaping at Labor Ready. It's illegal what they do there. They do illegal landscaping, and they pay, and that's what they do. They try to take over. So he was going there and making his money for crystal meth. That's all he really did with his money. And whatever else he did with it. Probably more crimes. While he was supposedly at work, he had his rape gang member, Zandria Morris, who was born probably in the late 50s or sometimes in the 60s. Around that time is her date of birth. August 5th. Yeah, Zandria Morris, Zandria Perkins. She showed up like she's an authority. She's like, Rachel, you need to go with me. I'm like, what do you mean I need to go with you? You already see me on the street with Willie. Now we're all here. These people claim they're going to give me my resource. She's like, no, they're not. You need to get in that vehicle. You're going to go with me, and we'll figure it out from there. And she said, come on, Elizabeth. So we got forced into her vehicle. I was pregnant at that time. And, Willie ended up somehow meeting up with us later. He went with us. I don't really fully remember that exact moment. I just know we ended up with her. Some resource-stealing retard who I escaped from several times. And, she's a resource stealer. Anyways, we ended up at her apartment. She had her son illegally, Savion. And I'm like, okay, Zandria, now that we're here, where do we go now? She's like, I don't know. I was just sent to get you on out of there. Get me on out of there? Out of a place that might help me? And she starts laughing. She's like, you don't really know me, do you, Rachel? No, I don't. And I don't want to. The fact that I end up having to spend time with her for years since then. And she knew me before I was pregnant, too. This is a real-life rape gang. She thinks it's funny. It's like someone paid her with either money or perversion, or she does it for power, to go take me from a place that might actually rescue me. And it was at that time all I had access to with Elizabeth even. And then one of her neighbors, another resource stealer, named Bernice or Ernice, she had psych med. This is where Zandria ended up putting me. She's like, here, you wait here. This is where you're going to wait. What does that mean? This is where I'm going to wait. Now she's trying to call the shots? Are we going to go play basketball too? Like, come on, I don't have time for these people. Anyways, I was with Bernice, or Ernice, or whatever she want to call herself, with Elizabeth. And Elizabeth was like, oh, where's my poppy? I'm like, what do you mean, where's your poppy? We got away from him. She's like, Rachel, I want to have sex with my puppy. You don't get to. And then her niece came out of nowhere at her stolen location over there at the Harbor Village, where they cater to all these sickos on purpose. They're all mental health representatives. And they think it looks nice there. It's disgusting. This lady had psych meds crushed into her carpets, and she was putting them in her mouth, and then ordering more over the phone through the mental health representatives. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I may be high on psych meds, Rachel, and crystal meth and street drugs. She's like, but this is what's going to happen. I'm going to take your stepdaughter, and she molested her right in front of me. And she's like, I'm going to be with her and Willie, and we're going to be taking that baby out of your stomach when we get to. They threatened to kidnap my daughter, and then she told me I need to go back out in the streets and have more babies, because that's what Willie wants. And Willie did try to make me have more babies, but Planned Parenthood, they're medical representatives that are supposed to help in multiplying and give people non-hormonal birth control while waiting for the surgical procedure of tubal removals, ablations to menstruals. That's the female version, and there's a few other procedures and surgeries that are options. There's different styles of it, I guess, because there's also a male one. They cut their balls off or whatever you want to call it. There's different, words for it. That's what's supposed to be forced on everybody. Animals and humans are supposed to be getting the surgery to help in multiplying. So anyways, Planned Parenthood got to me, and they were supposed to give me all my resources, but instead, all they did was put me on non-hormonal birth control while waiting for the surgery, and then they pretend I didn't exist after that. The rape gang, they stole jobs there or something, and luckily the birth control they gave me lasted for like 20 years while I waited, and I had to go find a doctor because the people that steal jobs there, they mess with your file, not your real medical records, but the ones they have there, the little paper file, and they make fake electronical ones. I had told them, you fake biblical or medical representatives aren't allowed to do what you're doing. They don't top the truth. They're supposed to help give resources, and what they're doing is stealing them while they pretend to give you your resources. I could easily got raped with more babies. I literally just got that surgery I was supposed to get in 2021 of February, and they came out to me in 2006. After I had my daughter, they became aware of me, and they didn't give me all my resources. They only gave me part of them while waiting. So I don't know what happened with that. And then I don't know what happened with Bernice and her niece. I got away from her. I got Elizabeth away from her. Willie, he's with everybody. He only tells certain people like her he's going to be with them because they're already stealing resources. Or people that already have their resources or a percent, he'll try to be with them too. He tried to do the same thing to me. In 2006, Housing Authority, eventually around 2007 actually, told me, you can go wait in a 2-bedroom for you and your daughter, Angelina. This was without Willie. I said, what about my stepdaughter? They said, your stepdaughter's not your business. I said, well, if you guys are real presidential or higher, she should at least be your business. And she is my business because I'm a victim. And if you guys have real authorities, you will rescue her from Willie. It's like, oh, it doesn't work like that. She gets to be with the father. There's no such thing as the father. These people are sickos. So they want to shut up the public about me because I was really out on the streets in public telling everyone my situation. Some people found out she is telling the truth and they don't have access to more either. And some of them might have accessed it on a lie detector test and still couldn't do more because you can easily order a lie detector test online in real life. Or build one or whatever, however you get it. Anyways, so we were in a 2-bedroom, and I told Willie, you're not going with us, because he's like, oh, what about me? What do you mean, what about you? We're getting away from you, remember? I thought at least partly getting rescued. And then years later, he forced me to marry him and told Housing Authority, I'm her husband, and I'm going to live with her. Oh, they're like, of course, Willie, that's what you get to do. Elaine, a Housing Authority, a criminal peasant, put him on my victim housing resources, and she didn't give him a bedroom because she committed fraud. She said, "Oh, you'll just, you'll be there," but didn't want the public to know that publicly, because when he went on the news for my stepdaughter's funeral that got forced years later, that housing authority fake representative got so scared that the news on San Diego lied for him. They lied about his identity. They said, "Oh, where were you residing, Willie?" And he said in the LA area, when really he committed fraud to be on my housing authority assistance, and he didn't want that publicly known. It is a disintegration sentence for him and for the people that committed fraud for him, so they lied for him. And then all these idiots come out of nowhere. Even mental health representatives come to my front door. "Oh, what makes you think you know so much, Rachel? I don't think I know anything. I'm just stating that as a fact. Some things I really do know and some I don't. What do they know? They're a bunch of sickos." My daughter needs to get rescued. These stories are so stupid, and they're true. Back to the time about KFC, though. So me and Willie and Elizabeth and Angelina in my stomach were heading back to Costa Mesa area as I was still trying to get my resources. And the people didn't want to help me when I'm with them. It's a fact. Whenever I was with them, nobody did anything. They recognize them as doing crimes when I'm not there. People try to notify me. I'm like, you know what? That's a little girl. In real life, that is a 3-year-old little girl. At least put her in juvenile hall or the orphanage. At least rescue her away from him. Put him in the prison, whatever's available. Give me my resources, people, and everybody else. And we ended up on a playground. We ended up supposedly sleeping on the playground. Willie told me I'm not allowed to sleep because he's going to rape Elizabeth on the playground. So I stayed up all night while he pretends to sleep and Elizabeth was sleeping. And then the next day when the sun rose, we got off the playground and I said, "Where are you taking her?" And he said to his mom, because he doesn't want to be wandering with me. I need to go make more money and he'll find me later. So I thought I got away again. Oh no, as soon as I got money for a hotel room or something, he comes out of nowhere with his stupid ID, brings his whole rape gang, or, part of them. And, then I couldn't watch the TV show that I want. The rape gang got to choose. Or I have to wait to take a shower when I got the room overall. Somebody else came out of nowhere and got me a room and they left. They're like, "Here, you can use my identity." And they paid the room the one time. They said they're not coming back. If I keep paying the rent, I can use their name for that time because I don't have access to my own identity at that time. Then Willie and my little half-sister cousin Rochelle Yvonne Cavan, if that's really who she is, they came out of nowhere. And he used her to abduct me. This is what I'm talking about. This is what he does. He turned her into his rape gang. He was raping her, and she at that time was like 15. This was in 2005. She was born August 29th of 1989. I said, what are you doing with him? Then she told me, "What are you doing with him?" I'm like, "I had gotten away from him a moment ago. You brought him to my location in real life. There's surveillance of you bringing him over here. What are you doing?" And at that time, she belonged either disintegrated for her existing crimes or juvenile hall. Either way, her resources. Juvenile hall is a fake prison, but if that's all that's available, sometimes that's where people need to go. I don't know. I don't find it as an option for anybody. They're supposed to be real prisons. My little half-sister cousin should have been in a giant genie bottle, a clear one. She's double jointed. She could have thrown a circus show and entertained the crowd that comes to visit her until her disintegration date. I don't know. I don't know why she didn't go about that. She's real talented and she joined the rape gang. Like, who cares? It's not funny. These retarded people that got a hold of her have no intention on even using her for her talents. That's how I know they are some of the sickest. They just want to touch her sexually. It's disgusting. I even reminded her, and she's still double jointed because she was born that way. She could go be in a circus or something. And if she had a genie bottle prison, she can do it from there. Anyway, she belongs disintegrated for existing crimes. Years later, she helped Willie kidnap my daughter in real life a couple different times. She didn't succeed some of the times. Some of those other rape gang members came out of nowhere. They drove off with my daughter. Some of them brought her back and told him, kidnap her yourself. Stop sending us. And then he sent my supposed little half-sister's cousin. That's what I've always known her to be. And my supposed biological birth mommy, Deborah Lynn McLean. We supposedly have the same biological birth mommy that was born August 27th of 1957. They helped him kidnap her. I don't know if they did it for perversion, money, power, fun, all the above. It's what they do, and when they do it, it's always out of nowhere. So I really don't know about that. Sprinkles, look at the camera. Anyways, so those are some other abduction stories. Also, back in 2005, Willie Hawley Jr. IV tried to get me to reside in a vehicle a couple times. He claims I'm going to be my grandma's neighbor. Doris Ann Kelly, who was already forced to reside in a vehicle for like over 30 years now, around that time. She was born in November 20-something. I always forget her birthday. I have it somewhere. And 1930s or 1940s. Around that time is her birthday. Doris Ann Kelly. She also goes by Doris A. McLean. She has a P.O. box in the Santa Ana, California area, and the rape gang will not let her leave, as she also supposedly tried to steal my resources for herself. Living in a vehicle is illegal. She's from Lincoln, Nebraska area. She can go back there. Whatever she has left of her life, I don't know. Anyways, Willie tried to make me be her neighbor in a vehicle. And I told him that's not happening. He got me in the vehicle. Then he pulled up to a Super 8 motel. And he pulled up right in front of the office. And I thought I could have got rescued by the people that work there. They pretend that I don't exist. Willie raped me in the vehicle, in the front seat where they can see with the cameras. This is like what they want to do. It's like his rape gang works there or something. They wanted to see the video. Then he made me get out of the vehicle, go in the Super 8 motel, in the lobby area, and get breakfast for him. I said, what do you mean? We don't even have a room here. He said, just go in there. They're not going to do anything. Like, he acts like he knows these people. So I went in there and I tried to get attention from the guy at the desk, and he pretends I do not exist at all. Like I'm invisible. Like this is just a nightmare. It's not real. It is. It's a real memory. Put it on lie detector test. It is a true story. So I grabbed some muffins or whatever else, and coffee, I don't remember. And I'm like, here. I gave it to him. And then I eventually got away from him again. I'm not the only one he abducted at that time. He does these abductions that quickly. Babies, kids, teens, adults, males, females, animals of all ages. That's what he would do. They're called rape-a-thons. Him and my supposed older half-brother, C-Mac Cavan, they compete. They call them rape-a-thons, and they go around seeing who got the most rapes on somebody. In real life, they do this. C-Mac Cavan, born November 1981, 1980 actually, 1980 of November of 20-something, and then Willie already stated his information, 1981, May 24th, and they're around the same age, less than a year apart, and that's what they do in the rape gang. They would compete to see who won the most rapes, and then they argue about what counts and what doesn't. They're sickos. This is what they really do. These abductions are real. Even after the Super 8, when me and Willie went our own separate ways, anytime I got away from him, he'd go to the next one. Whether it was a baby, a kid, a teen, or an adult. Whether they work at law enforcement or not. Whether they're real authorities or not. He goes after everybody. He breaks into their locations. Whatever he does to get to them. This is what he does, along with that rape gang of all ages. He doesn't even use weapons. He just goes and appears like some kind of genie, only obviously not a real one. And that's what he uses, by the way. He uses Middle Eastern peasants to make people go accordingly and act and go along with him. It's called hypnotic memory deletion twisted with psychology. He uses Middle Eastern peasants that misuse their ability of hypnotic and memory deletion. Again, I have brought this up several times. Some people aren't aware of what that is, and it is what's going on. And some people will recognize, oh, that's how that happened. If you ever see an abduction where somebody is going with the abductor that willingly, whether they're at Disneyland together, at the store, down the street, they make it so they blend in with the victims. Like, they try to make it look normal. They'll walk up and make you hug them or something. This is what I'm talking about. And then they try to relate themselves to somebody else that actually has a loved one they're with, where they're allowed to be together. They try to blend in with those people, and then they try to accuse the victims of doing the same thing. It's insane. I can't even describe these people. This is what they do. Like I said, a lot of my abductions are on surveillance. People are like, oh, she's a hooker, she's this, she's a prostitute, she's a slut, she's a whore. No, I got abducted. Even in so many different, since I was a baby. I even got accused of being a clone of a grown woman reconstructed to look like a baby that is willingly in the pornography field. Yeah, as a baby. That is what I got accused of in real life. This is really happening to others also. It is illegal. There's lie detector tests, everybody, that determine the level of innocence and what stories are and aren't true. Some people twist the possibilities and try to state them as truth just to find out if it even is, because they don't know. Or because they think it's fun to make up these stories. It's stupid. That's why it's fact versus fiction, not the possibilities. I mean, you can mention the possibilities to find out things you might not know. But this is what it comes down to is fact versus fiction. With a lie detector test and real authorities. My daughter needs to get rescued, and Willie's also schizophrenic. He'll get inside someone's mind, and he'll twist the truth with lies, where some people believe his version of the story, even if they never heard it to their face. People act weird around me, thinking I'll start talking to somebody, or someone will talk to me, and all of a sudden, they get possessed, acting like they know more about that story when they don't. My daughter needs to get rescued. It's a fact. And I don't care, again, who believes that. Even she lies for the abductors. They force her to. They hand out scripts, even if there's no paper to read off of. They get a hold of their minds, and they use memory deletion, hypnotic, twisted with psychology, and those that lie for fun, they're just sickos. They joined. I used to have to lie for Willie. When he had me on the street, he wanted me to lie. He said he's going to change my identity to start lying about my name. I never lied about my name. I have tons of nicknames. So does he. He kept trying to he got paranoid that he really had me abducted. I'm really innocent, because sometimes he abducts people that are guilty, like himself, for fun. He told me the abductions with me aren't the same kind of fun that he has with his own kind. That I'm too innocent. That he'd rather go rape a baby. That's what he does anyway. Has nothing to do with me. My daughter needs to get rescued. Whatever else not mentioned, these videos are so disgusting that this is just another way for me to put it out there, reality, and hopefully get a hold of somebody, presidential or higher, or both, that's in a position and has access to doing more. Duh. And also, I am a fashion design major in real life, off and on, at Orange Coast College in Costa Mesa, California. The sicko that is trying to take that away needs to realize they don't qualify to live. Whoever they are. Whoever they are. That school is also known as, what I call it, the Island of Dreaming in the Land of Dreams. I keep trying to save locations with my appearances. I'm not just dressing up and pretending like they are. And these people aren't even dressing up. It's that sickening. I even remind them, are you aware that this is the fashion field, let alone a school, a place of business, careers, dreams, goals, resources, and more? There's sickos, peasant criminals stealing positions in schools, authorities, resources, and more. It needs to end. Bye!